took 2 trades today. One of them was actually short the market. If you're in the chat, you know that. So that, I mean, it panned out well. Man. Yeah, so I went short ES. We kind of right here at this peak, right here at this zone. I went short ES. Trailed it. I didn't tag out until this green candle over here. We'd hit that zone. That was just a big red candle. So at that point, I wasn't my 2 candles back. I did split that. So that green candle actually tagged it out, which I'm glad. I should have doubled up on my futures. And if you ever hear me talk about that, it's, let's say I'm long or long. Hey, let's just go. I'm long, a contract. I'm long 1 ES contract. My stop loss will be 2 contracts. So when I sell that, when it triggers, it sells the one I own and sells to open a new one. It's how I go from long to short so fast. It's literally instant in one transaction. Had I done that today, would have been an amazing day. Matt says this is a checkmark day. Something we've gone over quite a bit. Yes. Checkmark day. At the open, we send it down. Gotcha. So the reason why I went short today, it takes 2 brain cells. There's nothing too cryptic about this. Hit the zone. Took a type 1. It popped down, put my stop in the green. Waited for a little bit. This actually danced around. Once it started to break down further, that's when I started to really trail it. So my focus was elsewhere. I will say that, and we're going to talk about that after the futures because it's weird. I'm not going to lie. S&P outside 1 standard deviation, which from the sounds of it in the chat, sounds like Microsoft might be the reason. So right now we got to look for a rein it back in play. So when we're outside this move right here, you got, these are numbers I make up in my head just from my own experience, 80% chance we rein this back in. This means market makers need to do their job, get it back here. Market makers have these levels hedged for, right? Hedged and accounted for. Getting outside here, we're going to go to this is 1 standard deviation. We're going to go to what's called 2 standard deviations. Now, that 20% chance we get to that 2 standard deviations, it happens fast. This is where people with 0-day expiration gambling issues, just kidding, or people that trade like 0-day options contracts, usually post their plays on Instagram because they'll be long a play like this, and then it just sends it. Anyway, I do call them Instagram plays because you just spend a lot of time losing it. But, man, they're like a CrossFit person when they win. They'll let you know. But that being said, I'm going to take the numbers game on this one. I think rein it back in play. I think the fireworks are done. Maybe we have a green morning tomorrow. I'd look for a lunchtime turnaround. In that case, maybe the fireworks are done. Maybe a take profit Friday. Yeah, I think we sent it too much too fast, so I think we pull it back. All right. Nasdaq full send mode. Where are we at? Outside. Say, if we hit this yellow zone right here, I gotta say for now that would be my dip buy. I'd be tolerant with it. I would give it some wiggle room in case we just fudge it and kind of come down here a little bit. Because this zone is the absolute peak, and we're at all-time highs like this. I draw these zones where I first see the candles. That one should be right over here. So we have, this is our data right here. Over here, that's where our sellers were, so that's kind of what I had to go off of, and I'll blow that up a little bit. So we found our sellers here and here after a decent move up. So that's kind of where that zone is charted out. But looking back, you can kind of take that as a one-off and probably even have it zoned out right to here. So I'll leave this up. But I would want it, I don't know if I've given up on it. If it pulls back into this yellow zone, I'm going to be pretty comfortable with my stop. Again, when I trade, not a dig at anybody, but I have real money, real account. It's not I don't want to call it a fake account. Top Step, Apex, any of those counts. So I can't just rock 100 contracts, especially with that wide of a stop. If you are a futures trader, that might seem like a wide stop to you. I do know on that comment, by the way, a lot of people in the chat they have those. The Top Step is actually one. They have their place. They are great for learning, but I don't know why every time I talk about I'm in one ES contract or one NQ contract, someone's like, this person does 10. That's cool. That person's in fairy tale land. Okay? I don't care about the payouts later. I don't care about any of that. I care about the real money that I have, so I just have to speak to that. I just had that conversation earlier today, which is why I'm bringing it up. Do 100 million contracts on your paper account. Doesn't faze me. Anyway. It would probably, I hate saying safer in this industry, but if it pulls back, maybe don't buy the bright red candle like this. Maybe wait till you get the wick first. That way you know where to put stops. This is a little bit too much to be rocking these wicks. But I'm thinking somewhere around this vicinity is kind of where I'd be looking to stop out. Looking to get in comfortably at this yellow zone. Not hopefully we make it there. I better get in now, but comfortably in that yellow zone. Still long in queue from last night. Don't turn around. Man, from last night. Ooh. If I'm in management mode, get this. That was too strong of a day. Usually I'm 2 candles back, but that puts your stop loss right here. I think I could probably afford to get Q with it a little bit. My stop would be below this green wick right here. And if I wake up tomorrow and I'm still in it, I'm just going to move that trail up. But if it tags out, I'm going to look for the dip buy. Qs, again, hopefully we rein this thing back in. That's where your stop is? Nice. Who taught you how to do that? Okay, now we did talk about this one largely being horizontal. Earlier, it looked the weakest of them. It bounced. Oh, sorry, it's during this. It sold off, had this bear flag, sold off even further. So we talked about this being the weakest, but also probably horizontal. I don't know if I would take a trade on this right now. IWM is definitely one of the ones. I go through my seasons of trading it, but it's one of the ones. Because it's slower, I find it's not as forgiving. The NASDAQ, you might think that sounds backwards because it moves so fast, but you can get your answers pretty quickly. With this one, because it's, I don't know, the NASDAQ just runs. The NASDAQ runs and the S&P walks. This thing is still crawling around learning how to walk like a toddler. It might just make a hard left out of nowhere, and you just don't know where it's going. So with the Russell, I do like taking just zone plays. It's hard to just take trend plays inside this one. So for me, I would have to wait until it picks one. We'd have to either get above this blue zone or back down into this type 2 area of the yellow zone for me to buy it. Am I a chess player, Don? Well, I read that very weird. I haven't played it in a while. I like playing it, but I don't know anybody else that does. So bounced off the expected move. That's that.